Today, we have with us a very eminent Freemason who is heading the southern region of the Grand Lodge of Ancient, Free and Accepted Masons. That is what Freemasons are called, or the Grand Lodge is called in India. We have Right Worshipful Brother Vinjamur Govindaraj Madhusudan, who heads the southern region of the fraternity of Freemasons. So, welcome to you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, we have been hearing a lot about the Freemasons, and we are told that it is shrouded with mystery, and there is a lot of secrecy involved in the activities that you undertake, and the common man are not aware of what's happening with the Freemasons. So, how would you address this question as an opening remark from your side?
This has been time and again been asked, to many of my predecessors as well. So the first thing is, we are not a secret society, because our places of meeting, our dates of meeting, they're all public knowledge, and anybody who wants to know more about it, we welcome them. Except that there are certain, it's not a secret society, it's a society with some secrets. Because we believe that we are all one family as Masons. We believe each of us is a brother to one another. Each of us, like a fellow Freemason is a brother to me. Because we all believe in the fatherhood of God, irrespective of religion, caste, creed, and with any such divisions. So we believe that we are all brothers. And we believe we are one family, and when we say one family, a family is entitled to its own secrets, isn't it?
That's right.
So that's about it. It's just modes of recognition more than anything else. There's nothing secretive per se, but it's just that when we meet any Freemason anywhere in the world, there is a method by which we will be able to identify one another. So it's just that about it. It's not a secret society. There's nothing sinister about it. I can assure you that.
Okay. So it is considered to be the oldest secular fraternity in the world.
Yeah.
Can you enlighten us about the history, as how it happened and how it evolved, and where Freemasonry is today?
Legend has it that this could have originated at the time of King Solomon, pre-Christ, probably more than 2000 or more years. And then the temple of King Solomon, which was supposed to have been built then, that was the time when there were workmen who were part of the building process, and they used to meet often and find ways of helping one another's families, and that's how they formed these things called guilds in those days. A select people involved in this similar kind of trade would all gather together and meet regularly for betterment of their own lot, as well as for helping one another and their families in any which way possible. So that is when it's supposed to have originated from, but there's no documentary evidence per se about that, except that you do find some markings of these people who had worked on that in all these ancient monuments, which you find in Europe especially, and even in India for that matter. There may not be a record saying that there were groups like this which were meeting, artisans, people who were involved in building of these places of worship, temples in India and churches and other cathedrals in the Europe. Other than that, the fact remains that this has been there since then, but presently it's being practiced as it's being practiced today for more than 300 years. There is documentary evidence about the Masons meeting in the 13th, 14th, 15th centuries, the medieval times in Europe, especially in Europe, where there are records which say that these people, they constituted themselves into groups and had these interactions. So that evidence is there. But as it's been documented, formatted for the last 300 more years, there is it started in London and then has spread all around the world.
And in India?
In India, it's been there since 1730s, where 1730-31 is when they say the first lodge. We call it a lodge. We call it a unit.
Why so?
The place they used to meet in those days, they were called Freemasons' lodges, because it's possible that time they may even have been staying, because you had groups of people even traveling, at one point. So they used to meet in a place called a lodge, and the actual place where the meeting takes place, we call it a temple.
Oh.
Because Freemasons, only believers can be Freemasons. That's the fundamental thing that one needs to know. Only a believer in a supreme power can be a Freemason.
Okay.
No non-believer can be a Freemason. There's no place for non-believers in our fraternity.
So atheists are not admitted?
Yeah, they're not. Because it just does not form part of our scheme of things. Because we believe a person who believes in a supreme power, who believes that there is a power that is beyond our control, cannot be all bad. There is a mix of good and bad in everyone, right?
Correct.
So when a person is a believer and he believes that there is something that governs the whole universe, he can't be all bad, because there is a point beyond which he will not go to do something that's wrong or sinister or bad. So we believe that element in that person makes him a good person. So we admit good men. We believe we admit good men, and our endeavor is to make them better.
So that would possibly be the motto or the reason why Freemasonry is.
Yes, in fact, even you go through any of our websites or anywhere, there's one thing saying making good men better.
Okay, that's a tagline of
Freemasonry.
Freemasonry.
That is very very much integral to Freemasonry. Yes.
And it has been told that very eminent men and monarchs have said to patronize this fraternity and to introduce you in a more complete way. Right Worshipful Brother Madhusudan hails from a family of generation. He is a third generation Mason, and also he is a graduate in engineering from the Bangalore University, sir. And then he did his management from Annamalai University, and he is into business, and he hails from a very, very renowned family which has illustrious justices, and you yourself as an eminent person. And who else are there who have patronized this fraternity?
Men of eminence from all walks of life, all around the world, have been Freemasons. Most presidents of the United States of America have been Freemasons, beginning with the first president of the United States of America, George Washington. So since then, many presidents of the United States have been Freemasons. Many monarchs of many countries have been Freemasons. In fact, in India, we've had the Nawab of Arcot. Mm-hmm. He was the first Indian to be admitted into Freemasonry.
Okay.
The first Indian, Umdatul Umrah, I think is his name, Nawab of Arcot, Karnataka, as they call it. So they have been there. Here in Kerala, the royal family, in fact, Uttaradam Tirunal, Martand Varma was the last Ilayya Maharaja. He was a Mason himself, and his ancestors were all Freemasons, and his descendants and the next generation people are also Freemasons. But not very many people know about this aspect of the thing, because it's something that we hold so dear to us, and we do not want to go around. This is how it had been. Things have changed over the last few decades, probably 2-3 decades, or even a little earlier than that, when we started feeling that the world must know that we exist.
Okay.
And that this is a noble fraternal organization for the good of the world, making good men better, and we believe as a result we will be able to make our, in some small measure, it may be a drop in the ocean, but in some small measure make a difference to make the world a better place.
Okay. So what have you done to make it a better place in materially, if I ask you. You have said that, you work on the character,
Correct.
make a good man better.
Correct.
But, today's world, we need to see something material to convince others.
Yes, I entirely agree with what you just said. In fact, the recent pandemic, the last 2.5 years, we have been doing charities, not just in India, all around the world. In fact, in the United States, Freemasons do charities worth billions of dollars regularly.
Oh.
So even in India, we have a few charitable projects. Noteworthy ones are the General Williams Masonic Polyclinic in New Delhi, which is a landmark. Everybody in and around the place, they know the Masonic hospital there. We have a children's specialty hospital for children in Coimbatore, which is also run by us Masons. So these are things. There is a free dialysis unit of part of the Chennai Corporation, which we had. I had the honor and privilege of inaugurating it also. So where we have free dialysis being done for the underprivileged people with kidney ailments. So like this, many such projects have been taken up and run by Freemasons. Recently, in the last 2 years, we have done charities worth crores of rupees in just the southern region. And all India also many more crores of rupees of charities have been done. But in southern India itself, the Regional Grand Lodge of Southern India, as it's called, which is the body which governs Freemasonry in southern India, has on its own, through its lodges, the lodges, as I mentioned, are units. The subsidiary units of the Regional Grand Lodge, what we call the Regional Grand Lodge. And the Regional Grand Lodge in turn is a subsidiary of the Grand Lodge of India. So that's how the hierarchy works. So the lodges, through the lodges, the Regional Grand Lodge of Southern India has done charities worth crores of rupees. And we have tried and made Masonry visible to whatever extent possible to society.
So how do you fund this? Do you collect CSR funds, or do you take donations from public? How do you fund it?
Yeah, one noteworthy aspect of Freemasonry is, so far that's how it has been, the funding is entirely from our own sources. We ourselves contribute in whatever manner, to whatever extent we feel, whatever we feel disposed to give.
Okay.
We give it, because there is one phrase which is part of our ritual, as we call it, a ceremony that we conduct, which says it's more blessed to give than to receive.
Okay.
So, which means that, the great architect, we call God by different names. Because we belong to different faiths. Freemasons come from all walks of life, from different faiths, caste, creed, everything different. But we all unite in the grand design of being happy and communicating happiness, as they say. And this aspect of, having people from all across coming over and joining us is what makes this institution very, very special. And it's very different from all other social organizations.
So it's all good things only. And why the secrecy? Why behind the closed doors? Of course, you said that, in every family it's there. But then, if you are doing only good things, there should not be. It can be an open door policy.
No, that's exactly the point I was trying to make. The fact that they were blood brothers, who did not know that the other person is a Freemason. They did not reveal this to one another, and they happened to accidentally meet at a Freemasons meeting, and then they realized they're both members of the same fraternity. So at that point, this was taken to an entirely different level. But gradually, as things evolved, now we are more open. We now flaunt the fact that we would like to know. We like people to know that we are Freemasons. In fact, we have had many public sessions, open sessions as we call them, where we invite people from the general public to come and partake in the proceedings. Though the actual ceremony part of it, as I mentioned, that has certain modes of recognition. Rather than calling them secrets, I'll call them modes of recognition, or for the sake of regularity, going through the motions, which has been handed down through generations.
Okay.
Successive generations. There are Masons even today, as we talking, who have been Masons in the 6th, 7th generation.
No.
So I'm a 3rd generation Mason, but there are people who've had even a longer history. So this is how it's been happening, and it's good that certain things don't change in life.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Of course, when a son is initiated or admitted to organization by the father, definitely it cannot be something sinister or bad.
That exactly. See, that's a belief. In fact, whenever we have an open session, this is something we emphasize and we reiterate and we explain to people, to the public. Sometimes the family members themselves, we have the family members partaking in these activities, and that's when we tell them that when a father, wants his son to be part of an organization, that organization has to be good. There has to be something good in it, because unless he believes it's good, why would he want his son to be a part of it?
So why not the daughter?
This is how it has been there, and it's not any particular reason. That's how it has been there for centuries.
So preserving the tradition.
Tradition, yes.
But they do partake. Do they?
As I was mentioning, we do have open sessions where the family members are, including the wives, daughters, mothers. They are the female members of the family, as well as friends, outsiders, not connected with the family. Also, just friends. They also partake in these sessions. In fact, yesterday we had a series of meetings where we did have participation of the family members who could come and witness some ceremony.
What's happening inside the temple?
Inside the temple, exactly. They were there inside the temple. They partook in what happened. We recognized some of our own members. We have a ceremony for recognizing a person who's been a Freemason for 25 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years. In fact, recently we had an occasion when a member was a Freemason for 70 years.
So I understand that you became a Freemason at 18, and it has a special name when you.
It's called a Louis, Lewis, Lewis. That's how it's. So that's a privilege bestowed on a few when the father happens to be a Freemason. The normal age for a person to be admitted into Freemasonry is 21. But if the father happens to be a Freemason, he can propose and initiate. We call it initiation. It's not admission, it is initiation, because we are initiating a process. We are initiating a person into a different aspect
making
of
him
life.
Better.
Yeah, to make him, to mark the beginning of becoming better. So that is called an initiation. So when a father wants to bring in his son, if he's a Freemason, if the father is a Freemason, he can bring in his son when the son turns 18. So I had the privilege, I had the blessing that my father was a Freemason, and he initiated me.
So you have been a Freemason for how long?
That will give away my age, but in any case, it's not going to be 38 years.
Okay, great.
I mean, in fact, it's next year. God willing, March 20th, 2023, I'll be completing 40 years.
Well, congratulations for that. And so, can you just please tell us about the special attire that you are wearing with a lot of golden chain?
Yeah, I mean, at one point, all these actually were made of gold. The thing it was there. More than anything else, it's again, as I mentioned, we have a kind of a hierarchy. We believe that, as they say, it's part of the ritual, as some must of necessity rule, because you need some authority to tell people what to do, what not to do. There's some kind of control that needs to be there, some representative of a higher authority who's there. So these things are all part of that paraphernalia, wherein you can recognize that if I wear a particular jewel in a particular manner, I wear these things which are called gauntlets, and the apron. All these things, they just give the recognition to the person and the office that he holds. Everything is transient. I am what is called the regional Grand Master. I am the regional Grand Master of the Regional Grand Lodge of Southern India. I have a tenure of 3 years. After 3 years, I'm again back with everybody else. So it's to lead. Basically, you need somebody to lead, to show the direction. So this is an office which we hold for a limited period, and then the new person comes and he takes over, and then it goes on. We believe it for eternity. Yes.
So how would you see the future of Freemasonry in India, especially with respect to the younger generation, the youth? Will they be excited to join in, to get better, and take this organization further forward, which is about 3 centuries old now?
I believe so. I believe there is a lot of scope for youngsters to come in. and add their energy and their inputs, which I'm sure we have been reasonably flexible also, because as I was mentioning earlier, there could be certain activities that they may want to bring in some fresh ideas, retaining the core identity, adapting to the changing times.
Okay.
That's a practical way of looking at it, and I think we'll also have to look at those aspects, those possibilities in the future. So I'm quite confident that even the younger generation will come in. We will be infusing. We will be fresh blood will be infused, time and again. And I'm sure there are a lot of things to look forward to. The generation to come will also partake and be happy being Freemasons.
Any new initiatives that will possibly, as you said, that now you would like to wear it on your shoulder and flaunt.
Yeah.
And is there any change that is being considered where the youth has a different view of the world, in the changing world, where you hold very strongly on the traditions? Are you looking at a change?
No. The point is, as I mentioned, it's good that certain things don't change, but then we are open to change. In the sense, if the youngsters come out with ideas, as long as it's within the parameters, which within the things that we stand for, I think we should encourage them to come out with ideas. They may, like as I was mentioning, something like a golf tournament can be had, wherein we can try and look at various possibilities of raising funds if required. Of course, we need to examine this very closely, because we have certain guidelines and we cannot flout those. But we will somehow try and accommodate these youngsters who come out who brimming with ideas. The amount of ideas these people come, they like they say, generation after generation, the just gets sharper and brighter. So we do look forward to a lot of these younger people joining us, and we are now looking at expanding our footprint all across southern India by making it visible, by making Freemasonry, tell society. As I said, the last 2 years has given us an opportunity to do a lot of work, and we believe that when people see that, okay, there's this organization that exists, it not just does charitable work, it also builds personalities, it also builds character. Once they come to know about it, I'm sure that there will be a lot of youngsters who will also want to join us and make this a stronger and even more vibrant organization.
The youth has always identified itself with Swami Vivekananda. And there is a statue in Kanyakumari, in Vivekananda Kendra, in a Masonic attire of Swami Vivekananda. Can you please tell us?
Very interesting question. And there is this shloka which is supposed to have probably been composed by Swami Vivekananda himself, or may have been recited by him. Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarva dharma swarupini avatara varishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. Ramakrishna, his guru, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. So he calls him avatara varishtaya. He considers himself the what shall I say, an incarnation supreme, and sarva dharma swarupini, which means he talks of him as the embodiment of different faiths, of all faiths, sarva dharma. So that is itself secular in nature. When you call that,
all encompassing,
it just goes to show that this thing about aspect of secularism was ingrained in him, probably even prior to becoming a Freemason. But I'm sure it would have been further embellished, further accentuated after becoming a Freemason. Could have been even fine-tuned further for him to think of this sarva dharma swarupini.
Okay.
So he was a Freemason, and he initiated in Bengal, in Calcutta, and then of course he went on, and those famous words, brothers and sisters of America, we feel that could have been because of his being a Freemason, because of the connection, and that
the Chicago speech.
Yeah. And that's everyone talks about it.
Correct.
But that could have had its roots in Freemasonry, because
the word brother
itself, calling everybody
as a brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Yeah, he's one figure we hold, we have a lot of respect for him, like everybody else. So we are, in fact, we consider ourselves blessed that such a great person was also a Freemason. Yes, in India, he has been a Freemason. One of the presidents, Shri Fakhruddin Ali Ahmed, he was also a president. He was also a Mason. And Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's father, Motilal Nehru, was a Freemason. C. Rajagopalachari, the first Governor General, Indian Governor General of India, he was a Freemason. So many eminent people, there are many judges of high courts, Supreme Courts, have all been Freemasons. Many industrialists, J.R.D. Tata was a Freemason. So we've had people from all walks of life. They've all been eminent men of eminence in their respective fields, who've all been Freemasons, and who did hold Freemasonry, very special. In their heart, they had a place for Freemasonry. So, and they did their bit for Freemasonry.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, one last and final question, a very curious one. What is it that you are holding on your hand? I have seen you taking it out.
Yeah, this is called a Gavel. This is basically it's a symbol of authority, of rule, because like you find these judges and other people, the people sitting in the seat of authority, saying that this is what it is. The kind of a thing when you knock
once.
That's final. So this is something, being the head of the Regional Grand Lodge of Southern India, heading Freemasonry in Southern India. This is something that I'm empowered to hold and carry. Since you had said that should be in regalia, and that's the reason why this is here. But I wouldn't be using it here.
I understand.
Like this, the Grand Master, we call the person who heads Freemasonry in India all around the country. He's called the Grand Master.
Okay.
So the Grand Master also holds this, and then the Regional Grand Master who heads the Southern region holds this, and each Worshipful Master, the master of each unit, each lodge, also has a Gavel. He also carries a Gavel when in a Masonic gathering per se. But here because I came here to be dressed in regalia, that's the reason. This is called a Gavel, and it's basically an emblem, just a symbol, which is just to show that you're the person who's in authority.
Thank you very much, and you have possibly not revealed the secrets, but you have definitely thrown light into Masonry for the common people who are inquisitive or interested, or even to know about what Freemasonry is, and such a fraternity, a great organization exists. And very, very eminent people have patronized it for a very long period of time. And I hope that people will pay attention to this organization, this fraternity, and be part of it. And thank you so very much for sparing your valuable time with this Kaumudi television. And we hope that you go greater heights in your career, in your life, and God help you in everything that you endeavor for. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Kaumudi TV, for having me over here. And thank you, Brother Ranjit Karthikeyan, for asking me to be here for the interview. And let me assure the viewers that Freemasonry is a wonderful organization with good men, and there are a lot of people who do very many good things for society at large, and we would like to have people of a similar wavelength to come and join us to ensure that Freemasonry flourishes even further. So may all good things happen to everybody. Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu.